Hey everybody, it is Mike from Baltimore Rides. It is Sunday about 8:45-ish. I am pretty much wrapping up my night. I've got a little bit more to do, but only a few more minutes. I'm going to do like one or two more trips and then I'm going to call it a night. But, here's where we are right now. I'm just going to set my destination for home, and if I get a trip or two on the way home, that's great. If I don't, I'm okay with that. I have made my quest goal for the weekend. I got my 65 trips. I got my $145. That quest brought me all the way up to, plus the little bit of revenue I brought in today doing the 13 trips, brought me up to $1,177. I could make a full night of it tonight, and I am not going to. I could, but I'm not going to. I really like the idea of Sunday just being kind of a wrapping up loose ends night and not killing myself, because I'm off tomorrow. I have a lot of things I want to get done tomorrow, and this way I won't be, a zombie. This way I'll be able to actually, do the things I need to get done without lack of sleep. So, I really enjoy it, and I like the fact that I can do a half day on Sundays. It's kind of a 5.5 day work week, but that's a hell of a lot better than a 6-day work week, so I will take it. But Sunday's kind of a quiet day in DC. I've noticed that the past 2 weekends now. It's not a busy day. It's not a day to really push or grind, because it took me from 4 o'clock to 8:30 to get 13 trips. So, it just gives you some perspective on how slow it was, that, the rides were just starting to come in around 8 o'clock. It was pulling teeth for a minute there. So I'm glad that I'm wrapping up. Physically, my body's telling me that's a good thing. Mentally, my brain is telling me that's a great thing. The only reason that I'm a little bit frustrated at myself still is, I would be at 1277, had I made that quest goal earlier in the week and not missed it by those 3 trips. So, it's, you live and you learn. This is definitely my lesson learned for next time, is that I need to hit it really hard the first 2 nights, and then the last night of the quest is like mop up. It's the night where I just kind of clean up the loose ends. So instead of trying to scramble that last night to make the number, and then if you can't control what you can't control, you miss it. So, that I can't wait to hit a $1,200 week. I have not hit one yet, but I know it's right around the corner. I mean, I know if it wasn't this week, it'll probably be next week. If it's not next week, it'll be the week after. And if you think about it, guys, I did $145 in extra quest money this week just from the weekend one. It would have been $245 if I'd gotten both. That's the highest amount I've seen them throw out on the table yet, because it was $180 last week between the two. So I'm thrilled. I'm really thrilled. This definitely falls into my work smart, not hard philosophy, and I'm going to keep doing it because I think it works. I really like the idea of focusing on number of trips and not so much on dollars, and then the dollars work themselves out based on those number of trips. So, that'll be my learning lesson for myself next week. So that's kind of really all I've got to talk about, guys. Short day, not a whole lot to recap, so to speak. I did get some comments recently on the YouTube channel. For those of you that are out there, there was one guy, David, who left me a message that he thought I worked for Uber's propaganda team. He didn't think my numbers were realistic. I don't know what to tell you to convince you if you're not already convinced that I'm telling the truth. Aside from me figuring out how to do screenshots, if you guys didn't already know, and I know I've mentioned it before, but everything I do on my smartphone. I have a Galaxy S8. I'm an Android person because I have Sprint, and everything I do is on that. My video recording is just me recording off the phone. So I don't have like, I have a GoPro camera, but it's kind of clunky and old, and I tried doing the wireless download over Wi-Fi, and it took forever. Filming in high def or even in a decent high resolution, it was a gigantic file size, and it just took hours and hours and hours to upload. Whereas doing it this way, the video is recorded, it's saved right on my phone. I click the share to YouTube button, it uploads pretty fast, and there's no computer headache for somebody like myself who's not very computer savvy. So, I'm gonna figure it out. At some point I've either got to bite the bullet and just get myself an extra phone, even if it's an El Cheapo that I can run video on just to show you guys. I have a couple ways I can do it in my head. They all require me to spend money that I just don't want to spend right now. So I'm working on it. I promise you guys I'm working on it. I'd even thought about I can't record video and then pull the app up at the same time. The minute you flip to something else, the video stops recording, and that's my frustration. So maybe there's an app out there that will allow me to record screen data. I don't know. I just don't know. I'm not that technically savvy when it comes to that kind of stuff. So, that's my downfall. I know there's all these guys that record videos at home on their computers. They're sitting in a desk chair talking to you and, able to show you stuff. And I just am not that guy. Like, I'm on the road. I'm in my car right now. You can see the cars going behind me, as I'm driving. And that's the way I do it. That's just the way I do it. So I apologize if you think that I'm some propaganda person for Uber. I do not work for Uber in any extended way other than the rest of us Uber drivers, how we're all kind of contracted drivers. And I'm only as much of a fan of Uber as it is that Uber's paying my bills and feeding my family. And I'm working smart, not hard. I'm working within the system. I'm not breaking rules, but I've come up with my own strategies and my own plans and my own ways of making my work week profitable that probably don't make any sense based on what Uber thinks I should be doing. And that's fine. Uber wants us to chase surge clouds. Uber wants us to run around like chickens with our heads cut off, going wherever the map takes us. And that's not profitable. That's not good business strategy. And that's why I don't do it that way. I work smart. I go to an area that's rich in customers, with a lot of customers, quantity rich, not wealthy, but that too. But I go to the city. I go to, the areas of the city where I know people are congregating, whether it's DuPont Circle, U Street, Nationals Park on a game night, whatever. And I work smart. And if I get a ride that takes me out to the middle of nowhere, what I do. I turn off my app and I hustle back. I don't generally just stay out in Hyattsville or, wherever, because there's not as many customers. There's not as many rides. And that's how you lose money. That's how you don't work smart. As for people barfing in my car, it happened one time and it will not ever happen again. And it was really not even bad. It was like a little dribble. But I've been really lucky in 2,000 trips. No one's really made a mess in my car, with vomit. I've had a couple people do some other stupid things, but, I have some strategies around that. Late at night, I do not park right at the pin, right where the GPS tells you their address is. I don't pull up as close as I can. I deliberately pull up 50 feet, 60 feet away, 5, 6, 7 car lengths further down the road. Try and find a safe spot where they can load, whether it's a curb or an alley where you can kind of get your vehicle a little bit out of the flow of traffic. But the main reason is it gives me an opportunity to watch them walking to my car. And I can get enough information just by the way they're walking to my car, whether they're staggering, whether somebody's carrying them or holding them up, or, whether they're all bleary-eyed and, wobbly. And then by that point when they get in the car, I already know if they're going to be a problem or not. And usually if I hear them speak and I think that there's a problem, out they go. I say no thanks to extremely inebriated people about once a week. Doesn't happen that often, but about once a week I have to ask somebody to get out of the vehicle or not let them in because they're just too darn drunk. And that's okay. That's within my right as an Uber contractor that I can say no thanks to any ride I don't feel confident in. But that's, some of that's just luck, guys. Some of that is just random luck. But you have to think about it. Like there's a lot of times that I'll quit at 2:30, 3 a.m. when the bars really don't close till 4 a.m. Does that mean I'm deliberately avoiding bar closing? No. Part of it is because I have an hour commute and I want to get some sleep and, not be a mess the next day. But part of it is also that the really, really bad folks are going to be the ones that close the bar. The ones that come staggering out at last call are going to be the ones that are just completely wasted. More often than not, if you're leaving the bar hours before closing, you probably had enough sense to say it's time for me to get out. So, it's a long conversation. Part of it is intuition, part of it is just dumb luck. Whatever the case may be, you have to develop your own way of figuring out, is it worth the risk on each passenger. And that's how you do it. Like I said, knock on wood, I have not had any real bad mishaps. So, that's just how it goes. It's not to say I haven't had completely, totally wasted people in my car. I have them, all the time. But they've got enough sense to hold themselves together until they get where they're going. So there's that. That's really about it, guys. I'm going to wrap it up early. It's going to be a short video. 1177 was my final number for the week. With cash tips, it's, probably like, I don't know, I think it was like $40-something in cash tips total for the whole week. But, just on the Uber app alone, I'm at 1177. Obviously, my lease payment comes out of that number, so I still walk away with $1,000 and change. My lease payment is, it's almost 120 each week, which is fine. And so I walk away with $1,000. I paid my Uber lease. I still clear $1,000, and I'm happy as a clam. That's beautiful math to me. So we are going to keep climbing. We're going to shoot for 12, and then when we get 12 consistently, we'll shoot for 13, and we'll just keep chipping away at it. There's money to be had. We're nowhere near the saturation point, guys. There's money to be had if we work smart, not hard. So everybody have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I will see you guys back on the road on Tuesday. Thank you guys so much for watching my videos and sticking with me. Have a great night.